Episode 95. We are here. I did my intro the wrong way, didn't I?
You did.
We are here outside live. Let me try that again. David Housel said it best. We are living the whole of the Auburn experiences. You can quantify it, you can qualify it through a variety of methods, time, people, places, and things. But at its heart and at its core, the Auburn experience is all about Auburn sports, Auburn culture, and Auburn family stuff. Seeing as how it's about Auburn family, we got to get us gathered in here. I'm your host, as always, Kyle Loomis, alongside me, Mr. Scott, for episode 95 of the Auburn Experience, once again live from the campus of Auburn University. We're here again.
We're here again. It's another beautiful day. It's a little more blue skies than we had last week, but it's good to be out here. It's about as busy as it was last week.
Yeah.
There's some people studying out on the lawn. There's
Yeah.
people getting back from church and all the things. So it's a beautiful Sunday afternoon in Auburn.
Fiji House is pouring ice off their roof right now, which is really
get rid of the tailgate.
Getting rid of the tailgates. 5 straight weeks.
5 straight weeks. Yep.
That gets a listen. Let's start with that. I mean, obviously, this is Auburn Potpourri, part of the show where we talk about anything Auburn really related. 5 straight weeks here in Auburn, Alabama. I'm tired.
I'm sure you are. It has been a long week for you, or a long month for you, especially. I remember doing this when I was in college. And even as a college student, we had 5 straight to open the year, and it was exhausting. And now as an adult, it's even more exhausting, it feels like. And I wasn't even here for 2 of the weekends.
It's good, though.
It is.
It's one of those things where you complain about it, you lament about whether it's about the heat, the hurricane season that comes through here, all of that. And just the fact that you've got to do this 5 weeks. When you get done with it, you sit back and you go, I'm still thankful and blessed that we get to come to a place like Auburn every single day, be within the confines of Jordan-Hare. Yes, even amongst some unfortunate losses, which we will talk about. But it's been a fun 5 weeks, all things considered in that. All right, Auburn Potpourri, let's talk about some good things. Outside of football, it was a fun weekend for Auburn sports. Auburn Equestrian is back in season.
Yes, they are.
And how best to start off your season by taking down number 1 TCU at your place?
Not much a better way you can do it. It was a good atmosphere. If you haven't seen, check out our social media channels to see just how good of an atmosphere it was.
Swag Surf invaded the equestrians.
The equestrian meet. No live performance though, right? Of Swag Surf. They didn't make it out for another weekend.
I don't know. Listen, I don't know that they would want to come to an equestrian meet. It's not probably something that they would get as much recognition as they would a bunch of college students that know exactly who sings the song, all that kind of stuff. I will say this about the video. When we took the video, we knew exactly what we were getting ourselves into, and then some. It is quite unique to see Swag Surf on that. Outside of that, though, the win was outstanding. I got to stay for most of the meet. I got to hang out with our good friend Auburn Ellis, who does War Horses show, and it was really fun. If you've never been out to have you been to an equestrian meet yet?
Yes, I have. I went to a few in college, actually. I haven't been since they built the new facility. I need to get out there because it's super easy to get to.
Super easy
to get in and out of, and a lot of fun.
Yeah, and there's a lot of stuff. This is a very Auburn family oriented event that you can come to. Obviously, you're there for the match, the meet, however you want to describe it. But if you are there, you're obviously going to have other things to entertain the kids. There's horse rides, things like that. But incredible way to start off the season for Jessica Braswell, coach, and the rest of the ladies out there performing. We are not done talking about them here on this show, but just wanted to give them an early shout out to start off the season. Great way to start. That's not all. That is not all. That same day, technically night. It was night for them because it was a late match for volleyball. I'm going to tell you this, folks. If you leave an Auburn volleyball match early, anytime, you are in the wrong because you missed out on an incredible comeback for Auburn volleyball versus Kentucky, who at the time was higher ranked, more favored, probably has the bigger pedigree currently in just what we know about
historical collegiate volleyball landscape. They probably have a leg up.
So when you see your team, as much as you're happy to be there, having a great time, good crowd, go down 0-2 in sets, best of 3. Some people head for the things. Understandable. It's a late night. But I'm telling you right now, do not quit on this volleyball team because they did not quit. I witnessed an incredible comeback that went all the way to set 5. and then you have to win by 2 at the end.
Yep.
There was a moment in that give and take of the winning by 2 that I was like, this is going to be such a letdown.
Yeah.
Almost like something else that happened this weekend.
but it wasn't.
Fun. It was an incredible win. So fun. When's the last time you went to a volleyball match?
Oh man,
it's been a minute.
It's been a minute. I think early a couple of years ago, early in the season. But Coach Crouch gets another big win.
Mm-hmm.
We are very big fans of being able to talk trajectories and stepping stones.
Patience
and that things take a certain process and time.
Are we talking about this? Are we talking about volleyball?
We're back to volleyball. But like we've mentioned with Johnny Harris and the women's basketball team a lot, that there are stepping stones and milestones that get met, and Coach Crouch and the volleyball team continue to meet these. These kind of wins only get more frequent when you start meeting those, and so really excited for them, and I'm glad to see so many people there supporting them as well.
Yeah, definitely. I want to give some shout outs for the football game. What we're going to, again, I keep referencing, we're going to get there, folks, to discussing, have a much later therapy session, probably a more tame therapy session than we had. But I do want to give some things that were good from the Oklahoma game. We had some, and I do mean celebrities come to be recognized at this game. We knew that it was already on the schedule for some special things that happened last year to be recognized. What am I talking about? I'm talking about the men's basketball team in their SEC championship. I'm also talking about the men's golf team in their reigning national championships. Did you see their rings, by the way? All the
rings looked really good.
It was in obviously every year somebody wins something, everybody gets a ring like this, but we're talking about 2 separate things winning rings this season, and they both look really great. So if you haven't seen those images of it out there, they were recognized. But celebrity, probably is she our biggest celebrity right now in Auburn space? Just when you talk about international appeal or national appeal,
I can't think of someone you'd have to compare her to.
Charles, maybe, because Charles is always
love you, Charles. And internationally, Suni has the most, but she was back with some bling of her own that she earned.
Double the bling.
That's right.
I guess technically the golf team as well had 2 blings,
the
SEC championship and natty rings. But I mean, we're talking about the Olympic gold medals. I thought Suni Lee hated Auburn.
Oh, you would think so by the talk of people where it's none of their business if she likes Auburn or not.
I also
just
heard
keeps
Cam
coming
Newton
back.
Auburn,
These individuals just keep coming back though to a place apparently that might mean more to them than someone would let on.
I know it's a good thing too, because I think if you've heard some of the stories that were out there about how Suni was when she had her time at Auburn was probably, as you would expect, a bit of a celebrity, had a lot of attention around her, not a lot of probably peace and stuff like that. It's good to see her coming back and investing back in Auburn, coming to be celebrated here, and she seemed like
really glad she was here.
Yeah, that was a good show for her, good show for us, and continues to show what makes the Auburn family so special. Whether you're talking about her, the men's basketball team, their rings, and the double rings for men's golf from that game. So that's all the big things out there. I got a question for you, Austin, and this is about the football game. But it's not about,
I love them.
You're just gonna go ahead and say
I love them.
Can I?
You can ask.
Why?
Why do I love them?
We're talking about orange face mask people.
I think they look the best of all our face mask combos. Now I do think that they look really good with the all whites, but I love the orange face masks. I'm a strong advocate for the orange face masks. I like the pop. My co-host, who's a bit of a traditionalist, loves the blue.
Actually, I love the white.
At home,
I love the white, period,
nonstop.
Now, I am a traditionalist, so I do prefer things do not change, and I'm going to be a grumpy old man about that sometimes. But if I have to have anything, it's the white face mask. Can I just be honest with you? I hate the orange face mask. I hate them with a passion.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. We disagree here. See, there's a lot of people who think we always agree, and here's proof, Exhibit A right here.
We do think a lot alike, but I, for whatever reason, do not like the orange face mask.
I love them. I think they pop. I think they look good. They don't have superpowers, as our one of our good friends Clint likes to say, and I think that is what's made evident yesterday as well.
Can I make things more difficult for him?
You can.
Can we notice a correlation between the success downgrading of this team and us putting more face mask out there?
That's fair.
And
it's fair.
Did I just create a firestorm for him on Twitter?
You probably did. You probably did. We need the face mask tracker.
Oh man, that would be so good. I only asked this. We've talked about orange face mask, white face mask before, but I know I'm in the minority about this.
Yeah. Well, and everybody loves something new and something different, and well, not everybody, obviously, as Kyle's here, but the majority loves something new and something different, just because Auburn doesn't seem to do that a lot. Which there's a certain likability about that too.
Yeah.
That there's tradition. We'll see. I think we'll see it. Maybe if we start a streak of winning with orange face masks, you'll come to.
I'd like any streak of winning. I don't care what. I don't
Fair
care
enough.
what
We
happens.
could wear green, and if we win, I'd.
How about this? I was going to go somewhere that was not going to be family friendly, but I chose to censor myself because that's what we do. We make smart decisions, unlike other situations that we can certainly talk about. Just some rapid fire things here at the end. Very thankful that the hurricane that rolled through here did not affect Auburn as much as it seemed like it would at times, even though they were always going to be on the east side of the storm, the west side of the storm.
Right.
West is best.
West is best. East is the beast.
It still looked for a while there like they were going to get a ton of wind,
a
ton of rain abundantly. We had that cold front that came through that was like a
right.
I don't know if you saw the video we took from campus that day, but just
waterfalls
off of the stadium
Yep.
at times, just flooding all over thing. It was like the pre-soak that you didn't need right before.
Completely unrelated to
Right.
the hurricane, just a bad front that came in, but affected my professional job outside of this. But
this isn't your professional job.
It's not, unfortunately.
Okay, all right.
I'm still waiting for my salary bump.
I am as well. So, final notes as well. I had an opportunity to attend a rugby match for the first time here at Auburn with the club team. That was great. Maybe some more about that later on in the future.
Can I ask where that was?
That's out at the sports complex, the new-ish sports complex, past the fraternity houses and past
the university one.
Yes, the university one.
The new intramural fields.
Yes.
Okay.
On
turf?
Yeah, and it's a real rugby field out there.
I'm glad you got to go to that.
It was
when
fun.
They first opened, they were a little strict about who could come in there and just watch. So I'm glad that they have kind of maybe gotten a little lenient.
Sometimes you just go and ask for forgiveness.
Yeah,
maybe I wasn't supposed to be there. Maybe I wasn't there. Don't listen to me.
Did they ask you to join if they needed an extra person out there?
I don't know that they would want that.
Well, you look the type.
Well, thank you. I guess. I don't know. Anyway, that's all of our Auburn news and Auburn potpourri. Let's move on and talk about some therapy. We debated back and forth whether we were going to spend an entire segment talking about this.
I mean, it was on the chopping block,
or even just acknowledge it in potpourri, or not even really go into it. But I think you and I do a disservice to our viewers, to ourselves, if we don't have our own discussion about it.
Correct.
Again, every post game, we do a reaction show. Some of you may not like the temperature of that room sometimes. Some of that's because of some of y'all in there. Maybe it's also because of me. As I told people last time, my tolerance for reasoning with unreasonable people is very low.
Sure.
Like I'm talking low these days. So that can get a little bit fun. Let's talk about it. Auburn loses to Oklahoma 27-21.
Yes.
Not too far off from my score. I had a 24-23 victory for Oklahoma.
Okay.
So I was in
you're there. Yeah.
Ballpark, the right outcome, a little bit further away from the points. What did you think about it? Did you think this was going to be a win before everything started going down? Like, how were you feeling about it?
I thought Auburn would have more of a chance in this game leading up to the weekend than a lot of people, I think. Just felt like some of the things that have been decided, like Oklahoma starting a true freshman, and then Auburn kind of looking like they've solidified starting Peyton Thorne and sticking with him, the more experienced quarterback for this game. And then the injury report everyone liked to talk about Oklahoma not being down all their receivers. It was kind of like I think Auburn. There's Jordan Hare then obviously as well. I think Auburn has a chance to play better in this game than some people think. And so I did. I think my score prediction actually within our family group was 28-20 Auburn, which switched was the other outcome. But I think that I had some good optimism.
Yeah.
I think I mentioned this in past episodes, but I was not even in the city this weekend. My sister-in-law got married to her longtime Auburn man, another Auburn couple teams up.
Congrats to them.
So congrats to Olivia and Drew. It was a very fun wedding with lots of Auburn people involved. But so we were keeping up with it a little bit. But I had some good optimism about the game. But just one of those kind of like the Arkansas game going into it. It's like, I don't know what's going to happen.
I think there's obvious trends the entire day because you saw the line, if you're into that, go back to Auburn very minusculely. So I think everybody bought into that. And can we just be honest here, folks? And I've thought about this too. And I don't even know that I bought into this narrative to start off in our reaction show as well. Is it fair to say that there was improvement yesterday?
Oh,
not talking about the result, but I'm talking
100%. That's something I'll get into it now. I was going to mention it later if it came up, but I think, and I'm stealing this from a national writer I saw this morning. I apologize because I don't remember your name, but he said something along the lines of, I know it's not easy to be patient right now, but I think that there has to be a level of tolerance or requirement for patience because Auburn's been in every game so far. And I know that that's not what we love to hear of moral victories and all that nonsense, but Auburn's been in every game. And really, I think, at least minimally has improved in every game along the way. I'm really looking at Power 5 opponents.
Yeah.
And so I know they haven't won any of those games. I totally understand that. And if you think that that's not nothing, then that's your own prerogative. But when I saw the stat line for Peyton Thorne at the end of the day yesterday with 21 for 32, 330 plus yards and 3 touchdowns, is it unfair to say that might have been Peyton Thorne's best game as an Auburn Tiger from stats perspective?
I'd have to go back and look at it, but I don't know that there's too many that can
rival it. There's a bunch, that stat line should be enough to win you a football game. I know he had the interception. I know how costly the interception was.
And we agree
I totally
how costly it is.
Get that. But I think you have to look at that stat line. Let's just say 3 touchdowns and 1 interception, 330 yards. I think we would all, after the last 4 weeks, would take that no matter who's the quarterback each week. So I think there's been improvement. I think that Auburn played well. The total yards is doubled of Oklahoma's. There's just really some pinpoint specific mistakes that ended up leading to Auburn losing the game. And you look at the interception return, you look at the missed field goals. I'm not getting onto the kid, and I'm not going to badger a kid for missing field goals. That happens too much, and if you're doing that, you have bigger problems.
Is there really discussed? Is there serious people giving that kid crap?
I don't know about Auburn. I'm just saying that happens. It feels like every time we have college kickers.
I hope not, because I will confine you as a fellow kicker and do something.
Yes,
I will kick you.
Yes. But I think there's as the head coach said, there's fault on his end that with play calling and in certain situations that he should have done better in. So I think that you have to be, and I hate to use this word because some people are gonna be like, what are you talking about? We're 2-3. I think you have to be optimistic in some sense that there's been improvement and that things seem to be moving in a small trajectory upward for Auburn on the field. Now you have to clean up the mistakes if you want to win games. But I'm hopeful that this is a sign that there's things that Auburn can do this season that can surprise people. It stinks to only win 2 of your first 5 home games. There no ifs, ands, or buts about it. But there's things that are show signs in Auburn's favor. I think you have to look at the fact that so many young freshmen and young recruits Hugh Freeze has brought in. Played very well yesterday.
And I think people love the idea of 5 stars and all
Absolutely.
that stuff. And it looks great on paper. But I think sometimes people aren't able to take away the emotion of that and think about the reality of that. Not
Correct.
every 5-star is going to play like a 5-star to start the game. I know when you continue to watch other places and then reflect, which is how we got into this position that we are currently in from a decision we made 4 years ago, looking across the state and other places as well. But things take time. And it's the reality of the thing that the collective, not all of us, said that we wanted, that we were tired of mediocrity.
Yes.
That I'm telling you, I had this conversation with a family member. He may even be watching right now. I think that is the most uninformed and just low energy take that anybody can consistently have. Now, I'm fine with having that conversation about, what, let's be done with it. I don't even need to talk about that angle anymore. We're talking about Oklahoma game, but you get where I'm going with
100%. And it's not acceptable to lose 3 of your first 5 home games to start the year, and
it
all
is
of them be
unacceptable.
FBS opponents. It's unacceptable. We're not saying that it is acceptable, but I think that I think there has been signs of improvement, and that is a moral victory. I totally understand that, but I think when you're in year 2 of a rebuild, because this is a rebuild, folks, you have to take those wins. And I'm not finished with this team. I think there's hope for them. I think they can still show that they can win any game. And I think Oklahoma was a good test, and one that they performed well against for the majority of the game.
3.5 quarters.
Correct.
Very close to pulling out a victory. And I hope it's not lost that we are not in any way condoning or happy about Peyton Thorne making that mistake.
No.
I also think you brought it up earlier that there were coaching decisions that went into that. And that's not even us just saying that, looking to put blame. That's the coach saying that. So we're not saying anything that the coaches haven't already discussed.
He took the blame.
And took the blame. Like he already did kind of, but people ignore that.
Yes, correct.
It's interesting. Where some of y'all get your opinions from is very entertaining, and it shows sometimes that you don't do the homework to go actually listen and read thoroughly and ask the question, and is what I am ingesting the correct way I should be taking it.
It's a longer press conference than just a couple sentences.
Yeah, sound bites do not tell the whole story.
Yes,
but the sound bites around the sound bites usually do. Look, Oklahoma game, I honestly didn't think we were going to win.
Sure.
The fact that we were in the game and in control of the game for as long as we were, I thought was a pleasant surprise. So I think it's fair to say that there was improvement. Still humongous frustrations. The biggest issue for Auburn is turnovers.
Yep.
I thought the defense, outside of a few missed tackles early, containing that quarterback outside of one run.
Right.
Now, look, when that guy ran for that touchdown to start off the game, we all went, here we go,
Here we go. I thought the same thing.
And then, it was like the light switch went off for the defense, for the offense as well. And Peyton Thorne was playing out of his mind.
Well, adjustments were made prior to halftime.
Yeah.
On defensively. And it looks that I think those are things that if you are just so focused on the negative, you can't see those changes, those positive changes like that, then I think you are going to have a miserable season. But I don't think it has to be that way. Kyle, you were here this weekend. I wasn't. Can I ask you, outside of the game, did you get to talk to any Oklahoma fans? How many were there? I feel like I haven't heard a bunch of this.
It's a good question to ask, because we
first trip as conference. Well, first trip period.
Yep,
I think, but especially as conference members.
I spoke to many Oklahoma fans, and I'm not gonna remember half of y'all's names or any of your names. To be honest with you, I'm terrible with names. But there's two instances that I think speak about. At Mama G's on Friday, I spoke with some people who drove from Norman.
Wow.
And they said, yeah, like this is pretty great of a town. Everybody's nice, and the campus is pretty. Like this was worth, even though this is not like the biggest place in the world that you would travel to outside of a football game being here. They really appreciate it, and they're doing the same things that we suggest people go to these stables,
absolutely.
eat at these places, try these things out, walk the campus, things that we suggested like Cal do when they came.
Yes,
coming from Berkeley.
Yeah, you might as well get it all.
But the other thing is, I was in the stadium, literally had just walked into the bowl part of it, and even though you're not supposed to stand at the railings, I always do. Just take it in for a minute.
Sure,
just for a minute. This Oklahoma fan literally comes up next to me and just kind of starts looking around. I said, "First time here?" And he, well, duh, obviously.
Sure.
So here's your sign. You know that old comedian?
Yes.
And he goes, we just start talking about Auburn, Oklahoma, all that stuff. And then he goes, I just got to tell you, man, Auburn people are just nice, like way too nice. He said, this is weird. And I'm like, I love it. But and so those two things stick out in my mind, that once again, even in the midst of so much strife about the performance of the football, the results more than anything about the football team, Auburn people shine.
Well, and I think that you have to like that. And there's some people who be like, well, we did, we still should win the game, win football. Blah, blah, blah. But this is the Auburn Experience podcast. And the experience of Auburn is one that I hope is replicated to others when they come here.
And this whole holds weight when we tell people that come here for the first time. This is the experience that you should have, because we can go to
win or lose.
We can go to Oklahoma people, we can go to Cal people, we can go to Penn State people, whoever this major person that's coming here for the first time, and even non-majors as well. But we make a bigger deal about the major programs. So keep that in mind. Baylor will be coming here for, I believe, the first time.
Yeah.
2 years from now. So let's do a good job and make sure that we continue to build up that Auburn experience, not just for us, but for others as well.
A lot of Oklahoma fans in quantity.
quantity,
like
too.
in the stadium and what. That's good.
It's
not a short.
I will
trip.
say I thought there would have been more.
Okay.
And I will tell you the one thing that I had to fight from doing. I told my wife about this earlier. Just need an event. An Oklahoma fan had brought in a flag. I don't know how he held it for the entire game without being seen.
A
flag, and started running around the stadium after the win. It took everything in me not to go chase him down and hand that over to him.
How in the world did they get that in?
It's considered a weapon. You're not supposed to be able to have that in there.
How did they get that in?
That's my question.
No, I'm not even like saying how did they get an opposing team's fan. I'm like I'm slightly concerned about our security.
That
measures.
is also what I'm saying, and I'm also saying that I had to not become a security risk myself, but chasing the individual down to grab it and hand it to a police officer.
Was he stopped eventually?
No, he circled the whole stadium, man. It took everything in me not to do it.
That's decently.
Can I just say this right here?
Impressive.
Even it's a negative thing to end on. I'm tired of having others fight songs played in our stadium at the end of the game.
Yeah, it's not fun.
Not fun. Can we stop that, please? That'd be great.
We got a month to figure out how to stop that.
That'd be nice. Two opponents you should be able to handle that on. All right, that's Oklahoma weekend. Our discussions, the good, the bad. There's actually a mixture of both if you can take the time to see it. Let's talk about basketball.
Shooty hoops.
Shooty hoops, man. When did that start, by the way?
I don't know. I love shooty hoops.
Like I never heard it called shooty hoops until like the last couple of years.
Shooty hoops.
Was there like a meme we created or something that said shooty hoops?
That's likely. That's highly likely.
Auburn invented the meme culture, or at least did it well. So we are not in basketball season, but we are
very close,
and even closer now because officially, and it's a new thing this year, we're able to start preseason practices much earlier. So Auburn men's basketball, Auburn women's basketball is back in session.
Yeah,
we're not just talking about practice because we're not Allen Iverson, but we did at least wanted to kind of give you the frame of reference for why we're discussing it right here. There's a couple of different stories that we want to get on here, but does it feel weird to have practice starting this early?
A little bit. It's
a little warm out.
September, it's still a little strange. But I actually liked what UConn said. I saw UConn's coach talk about, they had their press conference and he said the season started in June.
Right.
Season, and that's what you like to hear. I mean, the mindset, and hopefully for Auburn, it started. Well, not hopefully. Unfortunately for Auburn, it started a lot earlier. But the mindset for next year is a round the year thing. So it's fun that they are actually on the court practicing with all the new faces and all the new positions. But it's weird. It's a little bit weird.
It's a little weird, but listen, as a basketball player myself, growing up and through high school and for a year in college, and basketball is always a way of life for me. So I'm glad that we have more opportunities to talk about it legitimately, even though it's preseason. In season, you get a little bit distracted by what's going on. I am
distracted. I've been wanting to throw that leaf for a while.
These are the elements. We had squirrels last week. And
big squirrels.
If you've
never seen Auburn squirrels,
it's weird.
That's going to have to be a segment.
I'm sure we're
going to catch one and talk about it interview it on the show.
The chemistry labs are not too far off. There could have been a chemical spill.
I want a live one.
All right. Well, there you go. Let's back to basketball. I did get the opportunity, obviously, as many of you did, to watch Bruce Pearl's press conference to start off the year. Austin and I talk about this a lot, that it's very important for everybody, if you have the time to. Not everybody does.
They make it available.
They make it available. We make it available for you, too.
People not that long ago were just waiting on the newspaper to come out to hear what the coach said. Like, go watch it.
I cannot. Now, listen, I know when I say what I'm saying, this is mainly because it's Bruce Pearl. He's an engaging guy who makes even the most mundane press conference, very, I won't say entertaining at times.
Yes.
I highly recommend that you go watch this press conference, his opening statements, and then obviously the questions he was asked. He gave very thorough, thoughtful answers to a lot of the questions that even if we try to regurgitate them all here, we're not going to do that.
Correct.
That he does so much justice. I'm talking about questions around the roster, scheduling, perspective about the season, his honesty about what he knows about this team. One of the biggest quotes is he says, "I'll be honest with you, I don't know this team as well as I would have others."
Yeah.
And I think that's because there's so much probably potential good out there that he doesn't want to speak on. That's the sense that I got from it.
Yes, but there's a lot of new faces too, and how to get all those cogs to work together. But I think that, I don't think he says that a month out from the season saying, there's so much we don't know. I don't know what we're going to do. I think, like you said, there's a lot of excitement on what could work together, what all he has. and how deep this team is. I think they're a very deep team. There's a lot of experience on this team, and it's an exciting thing. So that, if nothing else, the fact that practice is earlier gives me hope that he's going to figure this out. He's got a longer leash to be able to figure this out before the season starts. And of course, you start hard because this non-conference schedule is, we've talked about it at length. There is not a day off.
If there's any year for to start early, this is the year for
Absolutely. So they'll get to find out a lot early, but even earlier now that we have got practice.
Yeah. So we'll be talking about practice a lot. And, when that comes around, if there's important things out there, but I'd highly encourage you to go watch that press conference. Other good things from basketball to kick off this week of things beginning. A commitment for the Auburn Tigers.
Yes.
New shooting guard, I believe, is where he likely is and will be when he's here. His name is Simon Walker, and he comes from, obviously, the state of Alabama.
Huntsville, Alabama native, Huntsville High School. A team that's had a lot of success here recently in the state. So we like guys that can shoot it.
We like shooting
from way downtown.
Don't start.
I got to figure out how to work Simon into the song.
Somebody, I think it was Son of Crow on Twitter that came out.
I'm not worried.
This is our call to you.
You got to
start working that in there.
There's a lot of names on this team, so best of luck to you, sir.
Yes, a lot of good ones. I feel like there's a new one starting with something like sweeping and broom. It's your last year to be able to make those jokes anyway with him.
True.
It's final year.
There's your tip from Kyle.
Do with it what you want. It's probably not worth that much. Simon Walker, obviously coming to the team here. Most people are going to say, well, what star is he, is all that stuff. If I can make a case to you about the stars and all that stuff, one thing that Bruce Pearl has shown to you, especially in guards, that he is good at finding those diamonds in the rough. Yeah. Whether they work out long term or just for a season or things like that, because they get drafted or things like that, they good about finding people that are high quality players to everybody looking out in, but turning them
right,
helping them realize their potential. While Janai Broom is a great example. That's not 100%. A guard. Janai Broom is a guy that I think was a 3-star in some rankings, goes off and has great seasons at Morehead State, and then comes to Auburn, and he is one of the top players in all of college basketball.
Yes.
There's no, that's not just us with our orange and blue glasses saying all that.
No, just the process that Bruce Pearl has already shown he has the ability to do. And in this day and age, you don't know how long players are around at all anyway. So just
enjoy them while you got them.
Enjoy them while you got them.
So welcome to Simon Walker, brand new commit for the Auburn Tigers for the 2025, I guess. Is it 6?
He would graduate in 5. So I think that's correct.
I think we've got that correct. So those were the big things for men's basketball. We've got a few women's basketball things that we do want to mention, commits for them. I'm going to read the list because they got 3 all in the same week. 3 total commits. Sasha Joseph, and I'm going to try to do this one justice, please. Miracle Akapatebo.
I think you did a great job.
Miracle, please understand it is not you, it is us. We're just simple people from Alabama who don't know how to talk.
Yes, we'll get there.
Well, probably not because we're from Alabama.
By the time you graduate, we'll get there.
Hopefully. And if also,
not, we'll just dub it in there.
You're going to see my mouth moving, and then just somebody who knows how to talk actually saying that. Brandy Harrod is your 3rd one, and probably the one that gets the most attention. Not that anyone is any greater than the other right now. We're just happy to have all 3. I think that's the one that got the most attention. Yes. She's in those rankings for being a top 100, 150. So what a week for recruiting for the women's basketball team.
It's pretty exciting, and I don't think people have really latched onto it quite yet. But I think that's a fair spot to be in, to also say this is another one of those milestones. Is Johnny Harris is getting the girls she wants, and some of them are starting to be really highly rated. So we love that, and it would be fun to watch these girls in the coming years.
Well, think about it too. She's done a great job of bringing in transfers to kind of supplement where they need to get to where they are. And now you're starting to see these foundations being laid with players from the high school ranks that you can build.
That's how you sustain success.
It's kind of funny how that works, right? You have to work through both of those things. I'm going to get him going on something here in just a little bit that we don't need to be. Other notes for basketball in general. Women's basketball, they are going to be obviously taking part in the SEC. It technically is the ACC, SEC. But we're going to say
Why is it technically?
It's alphabetically correct.
That doesn't mean it's right.
SEC, ACC challenge. They'll be taking on Virginia, who's still double dribbled. I'm sure the women do as well.
Yeah, they do.
5 p.m. Central Time, December 9th in Charlottesville. 5th, right? Did I say 9th?
Yeah.
My dyslexia is coming out. December 5th in Charlottesville. That's a big time matchup in the sense it's ACC, SEC, but that's a big one for us. Hopefully a little bit of revenge.
Yes.
With the ladies.
We'd love to go in there and right the ship, at least on the ladies' side.
That would be very nice. And then we also got a time for the men's.
Yeah,
with the
men's
Duke.
SEC ACC Challenge Duke is going to be a late tip of 8:15 Central Time. All eyes on Auburn.
I was about to say, if you didn't think that this matchup was big enough as it is, just simply the fact that it's Auburn and Duke, two historically premier program, newer premier program in Auburn, blue bloods, some people would say, and then the fact that it's going to be at historic Cameron Indoor.
Yep.
Now it is not only going to be primetime, it's going to be like the late-ish primetime game, like meaning there's no excuses for people to not tune in at least part of it. This is an opportunity for Auburn, yes, to get a win. Don't know if they will at this point, but wow, what a place to showcase and on a stage to showcase your team. I don't, if you can't get excited about this basketball season, I have no help for you whatsoever.
I know we love to complain about late kickoffs and late tips and what Auburn, well, we're going to have to stay up. I'm going to be so tired. It's Cameron Indoor. It's Auburn Duke. It's a midweek. You'll be okay. The next morning we'll come and go. If you can't get excited for that one. And Kyle's taking both of us there all on his dime, so it's going to be freaking awesome.
Which Kyle? which Kyle? Trust me, I look at those ticket prices every day, and they are not getting any better.
Not getting good.
And not even with that tip-off time now, and just the fact of the location stuff. Folks, basketball season is not here yet, but it will be here very soon. But this was a great week to get things rolling. Press conferences, commits, practice, and of course, more schedule news. Get excited, folks, because we're going to be talking shooty hoops more as time goes on. That's going to do it for episode 95. Once again, live from campus. Thank you guys, those of you that watched this live. Hope you guys enjoyed the sights and the sounds.
Guess we won't be live from campus here for a couple weeks.
That's tough. Thanks for bringing it down, Debbie Downer.
It's if it's every time, it's not as special.
That's true. That's true. So
I hope you got to enjoy this, folks, because maybe another one will come along and be special. Who knows?
It might be. We'll see down the line. Just never know.
You never know.
For myself, obviously, would love for you to connect with me on social media on X. Still weird to say. At Kyle Loomis 24. Where can they find you?
Austin G. Scott on X. You can find me. I'm sure there'll be pictures of the boys. We're in a massive. We'll have to talk about this more one day. We're in a massive Obby phase right now.
Did you ever leave Obby phase? Like for you personally?
No. But to see your boys start Obby phase, it's a lot of fun. Very cute. Also hearing the word Bubby a lot. It's good. But we watch Aubrey highlight videos that my mother took the boys on a walk yesterday morning, and it was like, where's Waldo? It was like all the tailgates, inflatable Obbies everywhere. Everywhere. Bubby. So there'll be pictures out of that. I'm sure. We now have stuffed Obbies because my mother was in town.
Final question. Have they met Bubby yet?
Yes, twice.
Okay.
Second time was much better than the first time.
Okay. If it hadn't happened yet, I was gonna. Well, I'm
big Bobby fans in our house.
I'm doing a really good job of keeping myself from saying things I don't need to say on camera. I'll tell you later.
Okay. Well, on that note,
thank you guys so much for tuning in to episode 95, and we appreciate you being here. Until we talk to you again, War Eagle. All right, folks, that's the live portion of the recording for our show. The main thing will be out. We're going to stay live here. I think Austin's got to run, though.
Yes.
Unless you wanted to address anything.
No, I was just saying how everybody was doing.
So you were kicked out, sir.
Well, thank you.
Thanks
to see you.
Thanks for hanging out. Don't forget your stuff over here.
Yes, thank you very much. War Eagle, everyone.
War Eagle to
we'll
you.
Be back for New Mexico. Van.
Could we get like a cartwheel as you go by or something? No, don't do it. Don't do it. No, I'm not.
I've already torn my ACL once.
All right, folks. Thanks for sticking around for a little bit. I don't have a ton of time, but we can definitely answer a few more questions and topics if you guys have them. Thank you guys to those of you that watched live today. It's always weird when I have to do it by myself, especially as I watch my co-host walk off and he doesn't hear me anymore. So I'm talking to nobody. Anyway, thank you guys so much for being here and watching the live stream from campus as we did. So if you've got any other thoughts or questions, drop them in now. If there's none others, we can start winding down our time. But while you're thinking about some of into a less All right, folks. Sorry about that. We had a little bit of a connection issue. I know this shot isn't as good, and I am also a little bit off to the side now, but that's the nature of the beast of doing things live the way we do them. Sorry about that. We have a few more minutes here that we can wind down. I had to switch over camera and stuff, technical stuff that happened. It's not very interesting. So appreciate you guys being here. A couple of reminders for you. We will be moving into a time with our schedules that is going to be a little bit different, obviously not being on campus at all during the month of November, but keep in mind that Wednesday nights is always the night for you, the Auburn family, to call in on the show. And we will certainly be doing those on Wednesday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern time. I got to get back to Eastern time because I've been in Central time for so long. We also have Sunday night streams with us here, the Auburn Experience podcast, which are going to be back at our normal times at 9 Eastern time for the foreseeable future. We'll be continuing doing that. So join us there for those. And then also we will be doing some other content pieces out there, even though we won't be on campus. So make sure you're staying subscribed, following, things like that. A couple of other things maybe to bring up that were brought up during the show. Mr. Dennis Scott, the elder Scott, loves the library venue and the earlier podcast. We really enjoyed doing them from here. The reality is that, we'd like to do these things all the time when we're in the same location together. It's not always possible, but we're definitely working on that as much as we can at times. It looks like we didn't really get any other major comments or questions. So we will wrap up our time here together with you all. My biggest encouragement to all of you, keep your heads up about football, stay focused, enjoy the whole of the Auburn experience, because that's what we talk about here, and that's what makes it oh so special. Thanks for tuning in. Until we talk to you guys again, War Eagle.